Hello and good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of The Shed. Hashtag Irish Blues Mafia with me, Trevor. It's season 3, episode 2. It's been a few weeks since I've been back on. I just took a few weeks off just to reboot and get back to normal. I did have episode 1, as you could see, my brilliant interview that I really enjoyed with John Fina, the legend from the Buffalo Bills, who I'm very, very grateful for. And if you haven't seen that, it's in my YouTube channel or Spotify podcast at the Irish Bills Mafia on YouTube or Spotify. And you're very welcome along. Tonight's show, I was going to talk about who the Buffalo Bills have signed and let go. I'm also going to just give a quick thought or my personal thought on some of the major signings. I won't go into them all, but just the ones that take note to me. And the last thing I'm just going to talk about is just the international market. There's some big news here yesterday, today, about a team coming into the Irish market along with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm going to talk to you about that as well. Unfortunately, it wasn't the Bills, but we'll have a word on it then. So, firstly, tonight, you're very welcome along. This year's show, I'm hoping to have more guests on. I have them asked and they have said yes so far. So I'm very grateful. It's just to organise a time. So going into the next few months, hopefully I'll have 7 or 8 guests more to come on. Maybe more if I can find them. But 7 or 8 have said yes so far. And we'll just talk about different things, their love of football, what they're into, their team, their channel or their job or whatever like that. And we talk to them about that and stuff like that. And the conversation goes from there. Also, I'm going to run a competition or two during the year. I have a competition lined up for the start of the season. It's going to be called the Bills Predictor, where people can enter for free, and we'll predict the games every week, and whoever has the top score at the end of the 18 regular weeks will win a prize. As of now, it'll be a mug of the Keyring, and I am going to try and have a hoodie designed for that winner. It'll be a one-off, so if you win, it'll be very special. But that's for future weeks and months to come. So tonight, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what the Bills have been up to in the last month or so. A lot of movement in the roster. The draft is coming up. That'll be another topic of conversation again in the next coming weeks. But I just want to talk about who they've signed and who they've released, and have we improved or have we stayed the same? Time will tell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the offense. So Kyle Allen, as far as I know, was the backup quarterback to Josh Allen last year. He's going to be released. I'm not sure as of now if he's got a team yet or not, but from what I read last is he was being released. So what they have done is brought in Mitch Trubisky on a 2-year deal from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know Mitch was released by the Pittsburgh Steelers before the deal was done, but I just mentioned the team he came from last. And what do I think of Mitch Trubisky? I watched him last year. I don't know. Now, Kyle Allen didn't do a lot for the Bills last year. He didn't have to do a lot, and hopefully Mitch Trubisky won't have to do a lot either. Mitch was there before with Josh Allen, so they know each other. So hopefully it'll be okay, and hopefully we'll never need to see him, other than we have a game won and he comes in to finish it out, something like that. But if Josh gets injured, do I trust Mitch Trubisky to continue on? As of now, no, but I can be proven wrong. Then the offensive line, Dave Edwards, he resigned on a 2-year contract, which is good. Tight end Quinton Morris, he resigned on a 1-year contract, which is also good. And then the big signing for us was left tackle Dion Dawkins. He resigned on a 3-year deal, which I think that was a major statement. He was absolutely awesome last year, and he's a player that we need to build going forward if we're going to challenge for Super Bowl. On the offensive line, they got Will Clapp on a 1-year deal from the Los Angeles Chargers. Wide receiver Curtis Samuel, he came from the Washington Commanders. and wide receiver Matt Collins came from the Las Vegas Raiders. Now we are short in depth in wide receiver. I don't know what we're going to do in the draft yet. I would personally pick a wide receiver as my first pick, but I'm not the guy making the decisions. So, with as I'll be speaking in a few minutes, Gabe Davis going and Deontay Harte going. These are two guys that come in, whether they'll be number two. Now, you have Kahil Shakir there, who I think is number two. And honestly, if we don't get a top wide receiver in the draft, the way Stephon Diggs finished last year, I would have Kahil Shakir number one. But again, I'm not the guy that makes them decisions. But Curtis Samuel, he came from the Washington Commanders. He has good numbers behind him. He's a guy that could fill in as a number two, number three, if needed. And Matt Collins I don't know a lot about him, only that he came from the Raiders, but hopefully he'll fill in whatever gaps we need him to fill in. And that's the offensive side done. Who left? Well, Mitch Morse, our centre, went to the Jacksonville Jags. I think that's a loss, but McGovern is going to go in and replace him apparently, and they have a lot of trust, so I trust the system, so I trust them that they've made the right decision. Naheem Hines, now unfortunately for Naheem, he was out last year with an injury, but he's been released. Deontay Harte has been released, and Gabe Davis has also been traded to the Jacksonville Jags. I wish Gabe well. I just don't think he was going to cut it here with the Bills. There was some light in a couple of years ago, but last year he was more of a bit part player, more of a blocker than a catcher. And when he was throwing simple balls or made simple runs, they weren't connecting. And if you don't have that, then it's just time to move on. Then our defense. So we have re-signed safety Taylor Rapp on a 3-year deal. Again, I've listened to some podcasts about this signing, and he had the best of years last year, but he had a very good time in Los Angeles Rams. So I presume and hope that Taylor Rapp can bring back his form. He's with a coach that knows how to train safeties. He signed a 3-year deal, sorry. Then AJ Epinesa, one of my favorite players, he signed a 2-year deal and a defensive end. Cam Lewis, 2-year deal. Daquan Jones, 2-year deal. These are all re-signings that the Bills needed in defense, and thankfully we got them. Then we signed from the Tennessee Titans Austin Johnson on a 1-year deal. He's a defensive tackle. We signed safety Mike Edwards from the Kansas City Chiefs on a 1-year deal. Defensive end Casey Tuhill, or Tuhill, I don't know how you pronounce it there, on a 1-year deal from the Washington Commanders. He's a defensive end, and linebacker Nicholas Morrow from the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, they have done some good work in the transfers. They haven't given them long contracts, so these are guys that are here for a year, and we get the best we can out of them, and then they can decide after whether they want to give them longer contracts or move them on. Then we also signed punter Matt Hack on a 1-year deal. Mac was brought in a sort of January time to cover for Sam Martin, but they didn't need him, so they released him again. But they brought him back for a year, whether that's to put pressure on Sam Martin, who I thought up until he got injured was doing okay, but again, maybe others thought differently. But I thought he was putting the ball in good positions, putting pressure on offenses when he dropped the ball back to them. They couldn't get out. We were on top of them fairly quick, but it's no harm to have a bit of pressure and a bit of competitiveness. So Mac is in there, and we'll see if they keep Sam Martin or will they swap him out, trade him, get a new punter, or it's just Matt Hack there just to put pressure on and fill in if he needs to be. So they're all, as of now, the defensive changes. Out went Jordan Poyer. He went to the Miami Dolphins. Now, a lot of people are upset about this. To be honest, if it was an amateur game, I'd be upset, because here in Ireland, in amateur football, you play from where you're from. But in professional football, in soccer, American football, whatever, it's all about the money, it's all about the moves. And yes, he's gone to a divisional rival. I'm sad about that, but it's just the way it is. And we have got divisional rival players from other teams before, and they have done well for us. So I wish Jordan Poyer all the best. I hope he does well, but he does still finish behind us and lose to us every time he plays. Siren Neal is also gone. There's two safeties. Trey White, he is being released on June the 1st. Now, I did read that there might be some way of doing a deal with Trey White. If Tre'Davious White can get fit, and it's a big if, the poor lad has been through a lot of injuries, serious injuries, then if he can get fit and prove it, he's a player worth keeping, even if it's for a year. But if there's any question mark at all, I would just say thank you, Trey, and best of luck, and bye-bye. Then Micah Hyde was released. Still unsure whether Micah is retiring or if he's going looking for a team. He gave us great service. I hope that he's happy, and if he retires, I wish him all the best. And Leonard Floyd, I was disappointed in this, but Leonard's gone to the 49ers linebacker. He played well for us, but I know with the cap that we had to release players. I know Mitch Morse probably wouldn't have been released because of the cap. I think Gabe Davis would have gone anyway, but it's just the way it is. So I wish Leonard Floyd all the best to the 49ers. And they're all the moves that I have down at the minute. My next part is I just go to look at some of the moves that have been made by other teams. And do I think they're good moves or not? Or will they hurt the team that they've left, or will they help the team that they've gone to? So I'm going to start with Russell Wilson. Now, I'll be honest. I thought Russell Wilson was a decent quarterback. He had won a Super Bowl with the Seahawks. And when he went to Denver, I thought Denver were going to be the up-and-coming team. But for me, he did not help Denver whatsoever. I think he brought more drama and issues to them than he did help behind the scenes and on the field. And he didn't produce on the field. You've seen spurts of it, but you've never seen it all the way. And he's gone to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers got rid of Mitch Trubisky. He came to us. They got rid of Mason Rudolph, and they are left with Kenny Pickett. And from what I hear already, Kenny Pickett is throwing the toys out of the pram and wants to move. I don't know whether he's got it or not. I heard Philadelphia Eagles were mentioned. Now, Kenny, have some sense. If you go to Philadelphia, you ain't taking Jalen Hurts' place. Then I also heard that Justin Fields might be also going to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Russell Wilson. Now, I know Russell Wilson is on the cheap because the Broncos have to pay most of his salary, which is $38 million, and I think the Steelers are paying just over $1 million. Do I think it's good business for the Steelers? I don't know, to be honest, because if he goes in and plays like the Russell Wilson did at Seattle, and you get, the good out of Russell Wilson, then yes. But if he brings the Broncos attitude, then I don't believe in Kenny Pickett, but Kenny Pickett would be my man for him. If I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan looking to get a player, a quarterback, Justin Fields would be my pick to get to there. And if Justin Fields does go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would have him one and Russell Wilson just sit there, and if you need him, put him in. But that's my opinion. The next one I want to talk about is Saquon Barkley. He left the Giants. He's gone to the divisional rivals, the Eagles. Will he make the Eagles better? Yes, he will. Will he take away a lot from the Giants? Yes, he will. But the Giants are in a bad place at the minute. I don't know, are they going to even improve this year? They still don't know whether Jones is going to be their quarterback. Will he come back from his injury okay? Are they going? They've already got rid of one of the quarterbacks. I think it's Tyrod Taylor. They let him go, so they have to be in the look for a quarterback, and they haven't found anything yet that would say they're going to build this year. So for Saquon, he would have been there again. He probably would be carrying the Giants on his back, whereas he's going to a team who last year set the world alight for the first 11 weeks and then just jumped off the edge of a cliff. Whether that's down, I don't believe it's down to the players, whether it was down to the coaches, but they have replaced offense and defensive head coaches. Uh, maybe it's down to that, or maybe it's their head coach, Sirianni himself. He could be the issue. But it will give Saquon a chance to challenge for a title. And for a player that's given a lot to the Giants, I do believe he deserves that. Then one that really shocked me was Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons have done massive, massive work this year. They're really building a team. If Kirk Cousins is fit, this is a team that can, push on. Now, I'm not going to say challenge because there's a lot of teams way up the board yet, but push on. They have a new head coach. Raheem Morris came in this year, and he has a big job and big shoes to fill now because he's got the quarterback and they got him weapons that if he is fit and he can throw the ball, and hopefully he is, I like Kirk Cousins, he is going to have some fun in the NFL. Between running back, wide receivers, and tight ends, he is loaded. So he'll have no excuse. But they are paying him huge money for 4 years for an injured man, 180 million. I wish Kirk well, and if he plays out all his contracts, he'll be one of the highest earning quarterbacks of all time. He'll have over 400 million made, so fair play. Then Justin Fields. Justin Fields is still a Chicago Bears player as far as I know. There's a few teams looking at him. If we hadn't Josh Allen, now Justin Fields is no Josh Allen, but if we hadn't Josh Allen and we were one of those teams that was struggling for a quarterback, I'd be out getting Justin Fields all day. I think there's some good in him. Whether he'll get to the Steelers or whether he'll sit there. Like, I know the Bears have first pick and Caleb Williams is the number one, draft pick supposedly this year. I'm not a fan of his. I would have Justin Fields before him. I just think he's a bit arrogant. I don't think he's done an awful lot in college football to say, like, what titles has he won? At the end of the day, you don't want a quarterback that has big numbers. You want a quarterback that knows how to win titles. The big numbers will come along with winning titles. And Caleb Williams was not in the big playoff scene this year. And he has, as I said, the attitude, the swagger, whatever else, but has he the titles to put with it? And when it comes to it, I take titles and experience of winning titles over numbers any day. Then Gardner Minshew or a few others, the Colts to the Raiders. The Colts have done a bit of business this year, so I think Gardner is just moving on. Will he get game time after Raiders? He could do. It depends on the draft. Again, for them, I know Jimmy Garoppolo has gone to the Los Angeles Rams, so Anthony O'Connell is there. I don't know about him. He's hit and miss. So out of them two, I'd have Gardner Minshew playing any day. But we'll see. But then the Raiders had a big loss. Josh Jacobs went from the Raiders to the Packers. That's a big, big coup for the Packers. He's a class running back. Mightn't have the best of years last year, but there was contract issues and all that kind of stuff. And then another huge one was Derrick Henry, the Titans to the Ravens. Now, Derrick did want to go to his boyhood club or team, the Cowboys, but they never contacted him. And Derrick Henry is massive, and he'll help that Ravens offense. Lamar Jackson, it's one thing watching Lamar Jackson, but now you have to watch Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Whoever gets the ball, there's going to be plowing done. And then Tony Pollard went from the Cowboys to the Titans, another running back. That's a big move for the Titans because losing Derrick Henry, you needed to replace him with someone. But he had the best years last year, so I don't know. I hope it works out for him. It's a big move. Like you're leaving Jerryland and you're going, it's not far away, I suppose, Tennessee, Dallas, but Um, it's it'll be a different new head coach, new new team, the whole lot. Hopefully, it goes well for him. Then T Higgins was franchise tagged by the Bengals, and I think they had to do that. And then Michael Pittman Jr. from the Colts, he was a guy I was looking at that if I would swap Stephon Diggs for him in a minute, in a blink, and I'm not anti Stephon Diggs in case anyone thinks I am. I just think his best days are gone, and he he still thinks he's him. If he proves it this year that he's him, and I'm wrong, brilliant. But I just think it was time to move on from Stephon Diggs and get wide receivers that you know either in the draft or free agency that could help us. You know, not have the ego there, but have the players there that Josh Allen can throw to and get. But he's resigned his deal with the Indianapolis Colts for 3 years, so he's gone off the table for a while. That's everything that of now that I'm taking note of. I've already talked about the Bills players: Gabe Davis, Mitch Morse, Jordan Poyer. They've all moved on, and uh, Leonard Floyd as well. So I wish them well. So the last thing I'll talk about tonight is the international markets. So the international market in Ireland here, last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars signed a 5-year deal for parts of the Irish market, north and south. So I thought it was a great deal. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers have grown since they have had events in Croke Park. They've really pushed the boat out. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars also have the UK, but from what I know, they're coming into Ireland more this year. They concentrated on the UK last year, did small bits up in the north, but they're going to concentrate more on Ireland again this year to push their brand in Ireland. So being a Buffalo Bills fan, there's very few of us in Ireland. Trying to grow it as much as I can. It's not easy. Like we have an awesome team. We're built in an awesome stadium. We are that much away from winning a Super Bowl, but that much away is the same, for a few teams. And it's very, very fascinating, exciting, and interesting times being a Buffalo Bills fan. But when you have teams come in that have the market, they have the rights then to push their stuff, push their brand, advertise it, the whole lot. And the Bills don't have that. So who has moved into Ireland this week? The New York Jets. They're one of our rivals. And I can tell you now they will get huge support here because the Irish have an affiliation with New York and love New York. And the Patriots didn't come. They would have got a big, huge following. They already have a huge following here in Ireland. The Giants, they have a following here in Ireland too, a big following. And now the Jets come in. But they now are part of the market. Now, I don't know what their deal is. Is it a 5-year deal or what? I haven't checked it out fully yet, but I was reading today that they have come into the market. So now you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the New York Jets here in Ireland, which is great for NFL. That means that 3 teams could get a game over here at some stage. But being a Buffalo Bills fan, I want the Buffalo Bills in Ireland. I want to try and promote them and grow them and help them. It's not easy. And it's getting harder now because you have a divisional rival in your country that, as I said, the Irish have love of New York. It'll be awful easy to put on New York Jets jerseys. Then you look at the Miami Dolphins. They have moved into 3 countries in South America. And I was trying to find out, have the Bills done anything in the international market anywhere? And as of now, no. So, Buffalo Bills, if you ever see this video, please come to Ireland, grab a share, get something. There is fans here to be got. I don't care. I'm going to be a Buffalo Bills fan. It won't put me up or down, but for yourselves, I'd love to see a game in Croke Park or the Aviva Stadium with the Buffalo Bills playing in it and be the home team like it was in London last year where the atmosphere was brilliant. And the only way is you'll fill it with Bills fans is by getting here and taking some of the market to get Bills fans. As of now, if you went to the Aviva or Croke Park with Bills fans, I don't think you'd fill one section of the stadium. And that's just the fact of it. So one part of a section of the stadium, maybe I should say. So it is hard watching other teams come in when you want your own team to come in, but that's just part of business, and we see how it goes. But anyway, that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. So that's everything for tonight, folks. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. As I said, it's Series 3, Episode 2 tonight. Some weeks I will do 2 episodes when there's a bit to talk about, but I'll let you know on Twitter or X and Instagram. And some weeks, if it's a quiet week, I'll do 1. Now, as I said, I'm hopefully going to have guests on, so they could fill a second segment for the week. And have some very interesting people that were on last year, and thankfully they're all willing to come back again for another show. So I'm very grateful and thankful to them. And as I said, during the year we'll change up a few things and have a competition or two, and have a bit of crack, and it's a laugh at the end of the day, and enjoy it. So anyway, folks, that's it for me from tonight. What I am going to do some weeks is leading up is I'll do one show unless some big information comes through in the second show, Buffalo Bills related, and the other show I'll do maybe NFL if there's 2 a week. But it all depends on what news comes or what happens. As I said, it'll pick up again, come closer to draft, and that's only 4 weeks away. So anyway, folks, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you Thursday night. And from the Irish Bills Mafia, as always, go Bills.